got the crown here. Who's wearing the crown?
I won the crown. I won.
What did you do last week?
I did Tubes' question.
Oh yeah, that's right. Bruce Willis.
That's such an easy thing, though.
Yeah.
If you go for an old Soccer AM thing.
Well, that's what this is all about, isn't it? It's a bit of a mixture of football and the old Soccer AM days.
Yeah, trip down memory lane.
I'm a bit worried because I've not won. I've not won one yet.
I think I've only won once. I'm not here that often.
I think this is the year. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Welcome to the world's #1 podcast, the Soccer A to Z, the People's Podcast, saving football 1 week at a time whilst helping society. We're working our way through the alphabet from A to Z. A to Z.
Have we had any feedback from society on how we're getting on?
They've said, they discussed us in Parliament and said, hey, that podcast is helping society. Today's letter is R. For Robbie Knox, 2 weeks in a row. This is some sort of record, isn't it?
Won't be here next week, but...
Aren't you here next week?
Nah, not here next week, now.
Jesus.
He's always away on international duty, isn't he?
He's doing.
He's doing that video with Darren Huckabee, aren't you?
Yeah, that's probably it, yeah.
Unlike Spurs, we have a full squad today. Helen is here. Hello, Helen.
Hello.
Joe's here.
Hello.
Tubes is here.
Hello.
Robbie is here.
Yeah.
Hello.
For 1 week and 1 week only.
2 weeks in a row.
Should we start, before we get into what you've up to, should we do a little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of administration, shall we? Dan says, should have brought back those famous orange sofas. That's because we're in a new studio. If you've not watched yet, go to social media or YouTube and you can see our new studio. It's fancy, isn't it?
It's lovely.
It's very nice.
Fancy.
It's opulent.
The orange sofas, do you remember when we got rid of the orange sofa?
Oh, absolute uproar.
For 1 week and 1 week only, we...
had to get them from a skip, didn't we?
Yeah, we decided to put a desk in. That was my fantastic idea. Which
Went all Letterman.
Yeah, it bombed.
And I know they get the guest, Jesper Blomqvist.
That was it, Jesper Blomqvist. That was it. And we did 1 week, and then it was like, oh no, this is so wrong. So we had to literally go to the skip, didn't we? Where they'd put the orange sofas and drag them back out.
That was before like social media as well, wasn't it? So wasn't it just letters and letters and letters?
I think it was emails.
Emails,
people just emailing in, going,
bombarded.
There were angry mobs on the streets,
Big
weren't
time.
there?
Yeah, there were.
We still get letters as well, though. I used to have to reply to letters.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. We had
Me too.
special
Yeah.
printed paper and stuff.
And you created a sketch, Tim. Do you remember that we had to dress up as ninjas and go and rescue? You created a sketch that someone had stolen the orange sofas, which is why we had to go and claim them back. And I just remember spending all day Friday dressed up as a ninja.
Do you know what that was? Well, as a producer, that was one of my proudest moments.
You could say as a ninja.
As a producer, that's one of my proudest moments because I'd spent all summer with the idea of putting desks in and thinking this was absolutely brilliant, and it's going to change the way everyone viewed Soccer AM and we were changing TV and everything about it. And week 1, I went, this is crap, and having the ability to go, I've got this so wrong. That was a real proud moment for me that I could actually admit that we got it wrong.
It's good, yeah.
Joe Purdy says, I can't believe no one said phono no-nos from the early days of Soccer AM for P.
Phono no-nos.
Yes. I can't be the only one old enough to remember those. Phono no-nos were things that you weren't allowed to phone up and say, weren't they?
The 5-minute phone in.
Yeah.
And you had phono no-nos, which were like the sort of hot topics of the week.
Yeah.
Like, say, at the moment it might be Postecoglou getting the boot or something like that.
VAR, yeah. Arsenal sending off, that sort of stuff. Helen, did we get many people swear on the 5-minute phone in? We didn't, did we? The people
No, we didn't. No, which is now thinking about it, is because it was live and we got as many people in as we could.
Yeah. Stephen says Doris Day does say what will be at the end of the chorus in English. So, Joe, you're our Spanish correspondent. On the quiz last week, que sera, what does it mean in English?
What will be, will be.
So when Doris Day, so Robbie got that question wrong there. So you said whatever will be, will be. It's not whatever, it's what. Or can it be whatever?
Whatever, what will be, will be.
Yeah, but is it whatever or what?
Well, it's the same meaning, isn't it? It's the same thing.
Word. One says what and one says whatever.
It's the same. It's the same implication. It's the same thing.
You don't have exactly the same number of words in each language.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not one.
So it's okay to say whatever.
Fine by me. Yeah.
Vindicated.
Sorry, are we disturbing you from drinking your coffee this morning?
Yeah, do you mind?
So uninteresting.
M. Lolly says the promotion relegation thing still happens in Germany between Bundesliga 1 and 2. So we're discussing
We should
that.
go.
The Chelsea that year
Yeah.
against Borough, so the Premiership team
still
plays off
happens.
against
That's brilliant.
the
Robbie, you should go make one of
so-
your influential videos about that. You should go to the game.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Eggy21 or Edgy21 says they did pig racing on Sky once. We were talking about pig racing last week.
Am
Apparently they
I
did
meant
on
to be taking a pig on?
You're racing a pig. Helen, how are we going to sort that out?
I don't know.
Bring forward your best champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just come to the prison.
Because I've got one pig that barely gets out of bed. all
I'll take
day,
him on
and-
then. He'll do.
Yeah, and the other one's 13. She's not.
I don't know if that's old or young in pig terms.
That's old.
How long do they live for, pigs?
Well, the thing is pigs are like one of the only animals that are single purpose, because people will keep
No, you get
chickens.
bacon and sausages.
Ham.
People will keep chickens for meat and eggs, cows for milk and meat, sheep for wool and meat, but pigs is generally, I know people, well, there's the expression, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, people don't really use pig leather that much, but because pigs are only really for eating, how long a pig lives is only down to pet pigs, because nobody keeps pigs all their lives because they're just reared for meat. There's no dual purpose.
I swear I got some pigskin Patrick Cox loafers back in the day, but maybe I didn't. Jay says, a question to Helen. I'm a butcher and she has a small holding, so why don't we get together? And when she dispatches the animals, I can butcher them. Perfect. Gone very quiet, the small holding, hasn't it?
I think that's a maybe.
Jay, I think that's a maybe. And also,
Yeah.
Matthew Tyndall sent in this, which we've all seen, including Helen. He's made a film poster, Helen Chamberlain, The Dispatcher. Now you have to go to social media or you have to go to YouTube to watch this. But who's going to describe that? Robbie, you describe it. You're good.
Okay, can you take it towards me?
Yeah.
So it is Helen in a some kind of robe. Not just like a ninja.
Like the traitors.
It's
like
like
that,
a
yeah.
Grim Reaper.
Looking
Surrounded
very
with-
menacing.
in the rain,
It's
looking like she's going to
hooded.
rip a chicken's head clean off.
And there's some chickens bricking it around
Yeah.
her.
It's very clever. Helen, did you like that?
I laughed. Yeah.
How is the
But
small holding this week?
I think I did call him bad, mate. It's just flooded. It's just horrendous. The fence came down in the storm. So I had to go off and buy new wood and build a new fence, put that back up. And then this storm came again yesterday. And it's just horrible. It's just wet, slurry, muddy everywhere. And I dispatched a cockerel.
Oh, no. Why?
Fun. Banter.
Too many cockerels, innit?
What?
It was
Oh,
banter.
you only need one.
No,
So it
I've got
wasn't ill?
about 14. Yep, don't hatch if you can't dispatch.
What?
Is that the farming mantra?
It certainly is, yeah. You have to keep your cockerel to hen ratio right. Otherwise, it's detrimental to the hen's welfare, because cockerels
Detrimental
are
to the
fuckers.
cockerel's welfare. He ripped his head off.
Yeah, so there we are. Sorry about that, but I did it.
Guys, it's brutal, isn't it? Did you know you were getting involved in this dispatching when you
No,
started?
it's something that you realise the day that you. My first hatch, I hatched 5 cockerels and 1 hen and went, it's fine, I live in the countryside, they can all stay. And then a month later, the hen is cowering in the corner because the cockerels do things to her.
Oh no.
God.
In a
This is
queue.
horrific.
Yeah, oh, it is horrific, and they take the feathers off their back because they tread them, and the cockerels ganged up on me as well. But when my back was turned with the feed scoop, they throw themselves in the air and they drum their legs at you, and they've got the spurs on the backs of their legs. And it was horrible. So
it is like Chicken Run,
This
isn't
is
it? Like,
horrific. This is utterly horrific.
Yeah, this is not good.
so you have to keep the balance right. As
Is this
Depeche
where the
Mode once said.
dispatcher comes in?
Yes,
What
it
age
is.
was the one that you dispatched?
The deceased.
Old enough that I went, "You're a cockerel."
Is it really? Is it? Oh, I get it. Is it? Is it really noisy every morning?
Yeah.
Do they try and outdo each other? Like who's
Do your
first?
neighbours hate you?
Don't have neighbours, Tim.
No, she lives in.
We need to move. We need to move. Yeah, she's dispatched the neighbours. Joe, what have you been up to this week? You always said last week that you always go last, and these two have such glamorous lives, and you don't. So,
oh God, I better make some up then. A lot of live football this week. Doing the all span, EFL, WSL, Champions League. Just been keeping the world of football going, really.
Without you, there's no football.
Correct.
Tubes, what you been up to?
We filmed with Joe Marler, who is one funny man.
Can he play golf?
Not really, but it was hilarious. I went to watch The Greatest Showman stage show for my birthday.
I'll just interrupt you and go back to golf. Have you seen the new throwing golf thing that people are talking about? It's like a golf club which is hollow, and you put the golf ball in the club and you throw it.
Well, like a dog walking thing.
Yes. And then when you get to putting, you've got this thing you put inside the club, and then you putt. I can't remember what it's called now. It's like a throwing golf thing. Have you seen it?
No, but I have got a gimmicky one club that you can do 14 clubs. You can adjust it.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is that
But I've
any
never seen it. It's all right. Yeah, we did a video on it.
Have you
Woke
played
nonsense.
football golf?
Foot golf. Yeah, I love it.
Have you played it, Tubes?
Yeah, it's wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great fun.
Is it?
Foot golf is
Where'd you play it?
fantastic. There was one near Guildford. You know, Helen will know, but yeah, near Guildford.
Brokers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Rokers, animal feet. Yeah, I'm surprised that it didn't take, because the idea of it sounds really good. Golf,
yeah, but I don't think golfers like foot golf because they do it alongside it, and the golfers, they're not like get these, dispatch them.
So what else have you been up to?
Yeah, so I went to watch Greatest Showman stage show.
Is this your birthday?
It was, yeah.
Happy birthday!
Thank you very much.
Happy
Thank
birthday.
you. So that was fantastic, and then this Friday we've got a big event, haven't we? The golf.
What's the weather like though?
I think it's all right Friday.
Are you sure?
I think so.
'Cause there's this storm doing the rounds.
Yeah, but I think it goes home on Wednesday. The storm.
Does it?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I should be all right.
So me, you, and
Sheephead
are playing.
Robbie's coming down.
Robbie?
Robbie's
coming
coming
on, yeah,
down, and
that's right.
Helen's coming.
Is Helen
Yeah.
coming?
Helen's
come along.
coming. Metal detector.
Come down.
Okay.
So it's going to be a big. Yeah,
Are you filming it?
absolutely.
Oh, no, I hate it when you film it. Have you been filmed playing golf, Joe?
No.
Oh, it's horrible. It's really horrible. It's like you stand there and then you just think, oh, I'm just going to hit a shot, and then you see someone with a camera and you go, oh, this is horrific. Are people actually going to see the way I play golf? Right, okay. What are you up to, Robbie?
Went to a gig to one of our nation's finest bands on
which
Sunday. Well, Tim, it was wet, wet, wet. I got a souvenir water bottle.
Did you buy
Really?
that?
Yep, 15 quid.
Why did you buy that?
To bring on here.
Okay,
Thought it was
thank you.
funny.
That was good, yeah.
15 quid for a plastic water bottle.
Well, yeah.
Was it full when you got it?
No, it's empty at the minute as well. Not used it yet. I will say, when I bought my tickets for Wet Wet, I didn't know that Marty Pello had left the band.
Oh.
Really? When did this happen?
Goodbye.
3 years ago.
That is the band.
Well, there's a quarter of them left, so I saw I saw Where, out of Wet Wet Wet. But it was still brilliant. They've got a guy from Liberty X now
Oh, good.
who won The Voice in
Right.
2016.
Oh, really?
Well, Marty Pello had to leave because he had acute arthritis, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he could feel it in his fingers.
Brilliant.
He felt it in his toes.
You know, when I thought about bringing this up, I thought the reason I'm doing it is because I know Joe will have a pun at some point for it.
Do you know when Marty Pello was on Sunday Brunch last? It was before the oh no, it wasn't last time, but one time it was before the pandemic. So we had live music on the show as we finished. Now the bands, they pre-record before the show because it all changed in the pandemic. And so he'd play out, and right at the end, I'm standing there with Rimmer in the kitchen, and he starts singing his song, and he decides to go on a little walk towards us, and I am absolutely bricking it because he's got his microphone, he's smiling, he's walking. I'm thinking, oh, please don't stick your microphone in my face and get me to sing along, because it was terror, absolute terror, because you don't want to be singing live on TV, especially if you've got a voice like mine. Yeah. Top man though, Marty Pello. Shame.
Great band, still worth going to see. Would thoroughly recommend. They got some great songs.
But then aren't you like going to see a cover band?
I'd still, if you said you want to go to see a wet cover band, I'd be like, yeah, please. Sounds great.
Were they playing? Were the ticket prices the same as if it was a proper band?
I think it was about 40 quid.
And no Marty Pello.
Yeah, as I said, didn't know that at the time, but it was still good.
And how many were those?
Was that
Pistols? Big venue?
UEA LCR.
Right.
It's like the Pistols are out touring without Lydon, aren't they? It's like it doesn't make any sense.
It's hard without the singer in it. It's hard. The singer.
We've got some questions coming in. This is on Friday, by the way. If you could pick one club legend to come back and play for your team now, who would it be? Now, we had that one last week. We didn't quite get to it, so we'll do that this week. Why was it Colonel and Ginger? Dra. And what was your first ever football shirt? So we'll be answering those on Friday. Now, last week we didn't do a guess the goal, and I know Joe loves the guess the goal.
Yeah.
I do like guess the goal.
Fancy
You're very good at it.
Yeah,
You're very good at it.
Apart from when Ash tells us it's Dennis Bergkamp.
Here's Peter Selby's guess the goal.
The attacking midfielder, with his back to goal 25 yards out, holds the ball up in a central position, plays the ball backwards, diagonally to his left 10 yards, for the attacking midfielder 35 yards out to the right of centre to run onto, and strikes the ball first time with the end of his right boot. It starts outside the left post and swerves into the back of the net. It's a stunning goal. Oh, he's ran onto the ball 35 yards out, 10 yards to the right of centre, strikes the ball first time with the end of his right boot. It swerves outside the left post by a full 2 yards and then back in, and 3/4 way up the stanchion, creeps into the left post, and it's an absolutely wonderful strike. He runs over to the far right corner. He's mobbed by his teammates. The home side are back in this. It's 1-1 with 6 minutes to go.
I got it.
So I didn't get this.
I got it.
Joe doesn't look like he's got it.
Struggling with that one.
Yeah.
No,
by the way,
I
Peter
don't
Selby
have
is a descriptive commentator for the Partially Sighted, and he describes his goals. Tubes, who do you think it is?
I think it's Michael Essien against Arsenal.
Yep, 2006. Congratulations.
Yes, I'm buzzing. I love this item. Come on.
I'm so bad at this.
I didn't get it. This is what it's supposed to sound like.
Because it's when he said it was
Lampard for Chelsea, 25 yards out, with his back to goal, holds the ball up central position, plays it diagonally backwards to Essien, 35 yards out right of centre, strikes the ball first time right footed. Oh, it flies into the far left corner. It's a stunning goal by Michael Essien.
Yeah. All
Bit
good.
niche.
Good. Bit niche.
What do you mean?
Maybe it should be more World Cup for us, yeah? So we get right. Helen, have you got any R's from our listeners?
Brilliant.
I have Jay McDermott, Robbie Fowler.
It's God.
There you go.
Why don't we should get him on the podcast, shouldn't we? Let's get him on.
We should.
Yeah.
We must all have a phone number for Robbie.
I've got Robbie Fowler's number.
Let's get him on.
He's rumoured to be taking over at Bolton.
Serious?
Yeah, well, not manager, like director of football.
Really?
Rumours, yeah.
Oh.
Tom Lester says retirement, the heartbreak of your club hero hanging up the boots.
Yeah, don't you think you always have to retire before the fans are saying you need to retire?
Yeah.
I think that it must be the worst thing ever, mustn't it, when they come to that day?
But it's a natural end, though, isn't it? Everyone kind of knows that they've run their course, and so it's not like they've got to retire at the age of 28 or something. Well, sometimes they do, but it's just a natural kind of end, isn't it? And
what do you think about? Well,
it.
you say that. What do you think about Michael Owen on all the podcasts recently? Like, I really like Michael Owen, by the way. I think he was a great player, but he was saying, the last 7 or 8 seasons, I just didn't feel like I was doing my job. 8 seasons. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
But he was still scoring goals, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think what he meant is that he didn't have that proper explosive pace.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he was still a born goal
They brought
scorer.
him back too soon from a hamstring, didn't they? He was when he broke onto the scene. I thought that was it. We're gonna win. We're gonna win everything.
Mate, he was a joke.
Yeah.
He's dogged by injury, wasn't he?
Yeah.
His hamstrings went ping every time he got going.
Do you know what was sad is I did a feature with him when St George's Park opened. I went and looked round it with Michael Owen. And we were looking at all the stuff, all the contraptions for fitness and strength and conditioning and stuff. And I said to him, if all of this had been available to you 10 years ago, do you think it would have made a difference? And he just looked at the floor and went, yeah, absolutely. But do you know, I retired him that day. I retired him. I beat him in a running race. And as we were walking back, he said, everybody always says there's that moment where you say, I need to retire. He said, and that was it.
You beat Michael Owen in a running race.
You beat Michael Owen.
Correct.
So not only are you brilliant at golf, you're a 100-metre runner as well. I mean, this is amazing with the things we're learning on this podcast. How did you beat Michael Owen?
Hang on. How does it... What, from, like, you both started on the same line?
So, I mean, I was wearing a skirt.
Were you on a horse?
Tights and boots. No, I wasn't on a horse. There's a running track at St. George's, and we got to that and had a look at it. And I can't remember. I might have looked at him and said, come on then. Or he might have looked at me and said, well, go on then. And he said, I'll give you a head start. And I went, you're stupid. And he said, I'll give you a head start. So off I went. And as soon as I took off, he went, oh, I'm in trouble here. And then he took off and he never caught me.
I didn't know Helen was great.
Are you good at running? Are you good at running, Helen?
Can I make a suggestion that it's a 3-way race now? Joe, the pig, and Helen.
Yeah.
And let's
chuck Michael Owen in for good measure.
All right, Michael, we've got a request.
Yeah. Don't want you on the phone. We want you to run the 100 metres against the pig, sheephead, and Helen.
You can sell that to TV, couldn't you?
Yeah. Prime time Saturday night.
What was the amazing thing was they had to go back and look through the rushes of that day, which is all the bits and pieces on the camera, because a couple of weeks after he announced his retirement, and I said, oh my God, he said on that day, as we were walking back, he said, everyone says there's a moment, he said, and that was it. And we looked through it, and the cameraman still happened to have his camera rolling. We were just walking up the corridor,
Brilliant.
and he still had his camera rolling. So we had it on tape.
That's great.
That
Who was he playing for?
That was the
United?
moment.
Man United was his last club, wasn't it?
Yeah. All right,
Was
any
it
other
Stoke?
R's?
Did you not go to Stoke after that? Briefly?
Oh, maybe.
But that's mad, though.
Yeah.
Helen Chamberlain ended Michael Owen's career.
Yeah, I know.
Any other R's?
You dispatch Michael Owen.
The dispatcher.
Dispatch from football.
Wow.
Peter Campbell says Rabonas, especially David Dunn's failed one. I'd forgotten about that. It was brilliant.
It was Zola doing that, which started showboating, I think, back in the day. Anyway.
Wasn't it Joe Cole started Showboat? When he stood on the ball?
I think it was Zola.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Go on.
Why is it called a Rabona? I don't know.
Must be named after a footballer.
It's a bloke.
Yeah.
Was he a player?
Yeah,
Rabona?
Dave Rabona.
Yeah. It's like Panenka,
Dave Rabona.
named after a guy called Panenka.
Stevie Kettle says, a right-hand man. Managers always have a right-hand man. Why don't they ever have a left-hand man?
Yeah.
Good point.
It was
Yeah.
Cloughie's. What was
Peter
his?
Taylor.
Peter the Taylor.
Yes.
Who's the one with Eddie Howe that everyone has a laugh about?
Oh,
He stands next to him
what's
all
his
the
name?
whole time. Oh, big lump.
Jason Tyndall.
Jason
yes,
Tyndall. Yeah,
yes.
Done some Rabona research if you want.
Go on, Robbie.
Rabona in Spanish means to play hooky or to skip school, apparently.
Oh, okay. You should know that.
Thanks, Robbie.
You're a Spanish correspondent.
So why is it that called that with the football team?
Honestly, I can tell you there's about 3 paragraphs and we've probably not got time.
No.
well.
Look it up if you care.
Any others, Helen?
Nick West Ham says, can we have a whole show about the real Ronaldo, please? R9. Well, I think we're halfway through this one. So, no. Gareth Williams says Rene Higuita. Podge says Ronnie Radford.
Ronnie.
Double R.
Ronnie.
Radford.
Yeah.
Ronnie
Tutu
Rosenthal,
says-
double R.
Ronnie Rosenthal. Yeah. Tutu says Ramon Vega. Ramon Vega. Yeah. Do you remember when he scored against England?
Nope.
Do you remember that? He scored. Yeah, it was at Wembley as well. I'm sure it was at Wembley. It might not have been. He scored against it, and it was a real shock. Not because Ramon Vega scored, but because
He's a
nobody
massive
knew he was
businessman
Swiss.
now.
Right, I've got a couple here. Josh says red cards, something Roy Keane saw a lot of. Lynch says referees, we love them. We love to hate them, sorry, but without them there is no football. That is true. We need to look after refs. We need to make it an attractive job.
Yeah.
We can't have managers slagging them off because we want the best refs. The only way you're going to get it is make them so they don't feel that. I mean, the abuse they're all getting all the time, it's wrong. It's wrong. Leave the refs
Thankless
alone.
task.
Yeah, and Rubino says, Ronaldinho, I wish he'd played in the Premier League. It would have been incredible. That would have been brilliant, wouldn't it? Would have loved to have seen him.
I saw one of Ronaldinho's first ever games for Brazil.
Well, you were there.
I was in Mexico.
Were you?
I saw it, yeah. I saw him play and Lothar Matthäus play on the same day. So quite a crossover, isn't it?
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
We're learning loads of stuff this
Hold
morning.
on, look.
This is
Matthäus
unreal.
was playing for Mexico.
It was in Germany. It was a tournament.
Jay Roberts says, and this is my favourite one we've had so far in the show, Row Z.
Yeah.
Row
Oh,
Z.
yeah.
Right. Tubes, you wear the crown. Get your crown on. And you go first today.
Right, so you just mentioned it there, actually, Tim. It is red cards, but I'm going to go after Skelly from Arsenal sending off. I'm going to go for red cards, but the most bizarre red cards that's happened over the years. So I've got a couple written down here. Starting with, do you remember Eden Hazard got sent off for booting a Swansea ball boy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The boy end up becoming a multi-billionaire or something.
He's got something to do with a
Yeah.
vodka company, I believe. He's now a multi-millionaire.
Mm.
And Eden Hazard recently has done some work with him.
Are you a billionaire, Tubes?
Absolutely not, Tim.
Trillionaire.
Absolutely
Robbie,
not,
are you a
Tim.
billionaire?
No, not yet.
From your influencing, you've not made... Oh, he is. He's giving me a wink. He's a billionaire.
Edin Dzeko once got sent off for pulling down someone's shorts
Oh,
in a match. So that's
Right.
quite bizarre.
trying to bring back mooning.
And the best one I showed you guys in the canteen was Italian non-league. So a guy scores, it's like lower league Italian football, and then he goes over and headbutts the dugout, but it's made of sort of like glass, and he goes all the way through it. So he's he literally, if you check it out on YouTube, put in headbutt celebration dugout.
It's like perspex.
Wasn't there-
Yeah, he's literally gone all the way through.
Right, I might have to edit this out because I might have got this wrong, but I remember feeling sick to the stomach. Wasn't Laurent Blanc sent off because Slavan Bilic grabbed his head
Yeah,
and,
for World Cup
and
semi-final.
he was going to miss the World Cup because Slavan Bilic cheated.
Yeah, it was in a
And-
corner, wasn't it?
And they didn't reinstate it and
Yeah.
say you're allowed to play. Like the World Cup final.
Yeah,
Um,
pre-VAR.
and
So,
did Frank Leboeuf end up playing in the
Yeah, he
World
did,
Cup
that's
final
right.
because of
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
So I mean, isn't that mad that
Yeah.
you end up missing the World Cup final
Yeah.
because someone cheats?
Yeah, he faked an injury at a corner, didn't he?
Held his head.
Held his head, went down like
Yeah.
a sack of spuds.
Yeah.
And blamed Blanc, and Blanc got a straight red for it.
But the
And missed
idea,
the World Cup
like
final.
FIFA, the idea that FIFA couldn't go, oh come on, he's got to play in the World Cup final. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
To me, is
Yeah.
savage, isn't it?
He used to kiss Fabian Barthez' head, didn't he?
Who did?
Before each game.
Yes.
Who did?
He did. That was like a little
Laurent Blanc.
superstition.
Yeah.
He did.
Laurent
Laurent
Blanc.
Blanc.
Did he?
And before each game, he used to go up and kiss his bald noggin. And that was it. So I wonder if Frank Leboeuf did that ahead of the World Cup final in his place. I don't know.
Maybe. That's a good one, Tube.
And
Yeah.
finally, Kieran Gibbs got sent off when it wasn't even him. It
Was it Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain?
yeah. And he was telling the ref, no, it was me. He's like, no.
And they still
So,
did
yeah,
it.
Still did it.
And so when we're
Yeah.
when we're all really anti VAR,
Mm.
maybe there is apparently in Norway they're getting rid of VAR, aren't they? The teams have voted.
No
to-
way.
Oh,
No,
God,
Norway.
Sheepheads on one. So my art was for bizarre red cards.
That was brilliant. Who should go next?
I never win, so that might as well be me.
Go on, Robbie.
Seeing as you're here.
I think you're going
Seeing
to
as
win
I'm
this
here.
week.
I don't think I am. So I've just got to get my notes from my phone. I'm not just texting. I've gone for Rumblow's Cup.
Okay. No, you're not going to win, are you?
And more a history of sponsorship of our
Oh, now you're
competitions.
talking.
Thank
Now
you.
you're
Good.
talking. I'm back
Rumblow's
in.
Cup I like because I can remember in the 1991 Rumblow's Cup final, the trophy was presented by a woman called Tracy Bateman. I remember this on TV because she was Rumblow's Employee of the Year,
Nice. That's
Amazing.
brilliant.
which I think they need more of. And I remember my
brilliant.
gran worked for Zanussi, and I remember thinking, if my gran puts in a shift at work and Zanussi get the right sponsorship deal, she could be presenting a major trophy. And it was quite inspiring at the time.
You need two quite random worlds to collide there for that to come off. But I like your thing.
What
Hey.
did Zanussi make?
Dream
The
big.
Dishwashers.
Yeah, white goods, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the appliance of science.
But it got me thinking, because Rumbelows
Yeah.
are no more. So
No.
their sponsorship was in vain.
Mm.
And it did get me think which companies that have sponsored things in the past
Milk.
still exist.
Milk.
Milk's still going, I think.
Thank you,
Go on,
Robbie.
Helen.
Can I just interject there? In the 24 years that Rumbelows were in existence, the company never made a profit.
Oh.
What?
Do you
Stature.
know so much about Rumbelows? Like anything.
Yeah, what do you know about that?
I don't know, just one of those mad things that I know.
Wow.
What did they do? Did they used to rent tellies and stuff? Rumble.
Yeah, I think so. You used to have to do that, didn't you?
Edwin Peely's.
I used to rent a TV.
Yeah, everyone did.
Did
Everyone
you?
rented a telly.
When I had my first flat with my mates. We rented a TV, all chipped in.
How much did it cost?
20 quid a month or something.
So the first 3 sponsors of the League Cup are all dead now. Milk Marketing Board, no more. Littlewoods, no more. Rumbelows, no more.
The milk thing, I remember so much because it was the big thing. Because we did it on Soccer M, didn't we? Where
with a bottle of milk.
We'd have people coming out with a bottle of milk whenever it was a cup final or something. But it was because they would drink it at the end when the winners were celebrating. It was such an impact on us all because they were all drinking milk, you know.
So also, historically, though, other things, EFL Trophy, the first 3 winners, the first 3 sponsors of that, also all dead.
Go on.
Freight Rover Trophy, gone. Sherpa Van Trophy, gone.
Leyland Daff,
gone.
got it.
Then Autoglass Trophy, Auto Windshield, same company, they're still alive. But then LDV Vans Trophy, they're dead too.
Is that the one Helen and I used to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Johnson's Paint.
Yeah.
Johnson's Paint.
Johnson's Paint was
LDV.
from 2007 onwards,
Johnston's Paint, yeah.
So yeah, sponsors. A lot of sponsors do not survive.
That's decent. I like that.
Thank you.
Well done, Robbie.
Dispatched.
Yeah.
Simod.
I did loads of research. I'm just not going to use because it's dragging on a bit. And I think I've done well enough.
Robbie, did you have the
Bare
research? Do you know who did the Rumbelows Cup draw with St and Greavesy one year?
Oh right, yeah,
Well,
I do.
It was yeah. I think they only
Puppet or
sponsored it for
something?
2 seasons. Nope,
Was
The
it Donald
Wombats.
Trump?
it was Donald Trump. Well done,
Yeah.
Joe. It was Donald
Did
Trump.
him in the
yeah.
studio, didn't they?
Whatever happened to
No,
him,
they
mate?
went to his
Ramsey.
place. I think St and Greavesy were over in America, something World Cup, something, and they went to Trump Towers, and Trump did the Rumbelows Cup draw.
Here we go,
There you go.
guys. Here we go. Watch and learn here. Hey, that's a great stat. Time for some more stat chat.
Oh, fantastic.
Newham says maybe more of a fact than a stat, but Man U don't hold the attendance record at Old Trafford.
Ooh.
Who do you think did? I had to look it
Is
up
it
because he didn't tell us.
international?
No, it's not actually.
The
highest
Lionesses.
attendance. No, the highest attendance recorded at
Wet,
Old
wet,
Trafford.
wet, live 94.
It wasn't wet, wet, wet. It was Marty Pello solo. No, it was the figure was 76,962 for an FA Cup semi-final between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Grimsby Town, 25th of March, 1939.
Wow.
Helen says R9 rounded the goalie 88 times in his career. That's good.
Great stat.
Dan's House said New Zealand were the only team to go unbeaten in the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. Wish I hadn't done the accent or tried to do the accent. I feel really bad now. I don't know. Can I just do it again and we edit out South Africa? I don't know. I just attempted it and it was poor. Detroit says, and this is the greatest stat of our show so far, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go by Wham was released nearer to the end of the Second World War than today. That is stat chat.
What's that got to do with football?
Stat chat, nothing to do with football.
So what about when I did my president thing? That had nothing to do with football. And everyone's like, oh, it's got
Well,
nothing to do with
Andrew
football.
Ridgely used to wear a QPR shirt, didn't he, sometimes? There's plenty
Yeah.
of footage of him in a QPR. I don't know who George Michael supported, or Pepsi or Shirley. Actually, Shirley probably supports Arsenal because Martin and Roman do. Don't know about Pepsi. Who does Pepsi support? No idea. Should we move on? Who's next? Helen.
I bring you rifts. Managers,
Ooh.
footballers who fell out, because usually all of that stuff is covered up. So we savour that good bit of beef when it becomes public. And funny, as I was thinking, I'm going to do riffs, one turned up this week. Did you see all of the Morgan Whittaker left Plymouth Argyle, signed for Borough? But there was also interest from Burnley, and Argyle played Burnley last week. And in the post-match, manager Miron Muslic was asked why he didn't select Whittaker, and he just said he didn't turn up. And then Whittaker went on Instagram to say all the coaching staff, everybody knew before the game that he wasn't going to be involved because of the bids that had come in for him. And the manager's words have devastated. So there it is. That was all out in the open for us to take sides on. And I had a little look on X. I still call it Twitter. And it was great because mainly the Argyle fans just responded with, well, he doesn't play for us anymore. Don't care. Bye. Apart from one who claimed that Whittaker used the term Plymouth 4 times in his statement when everybody knows players only refer to the club as Argyle. So it was definitely written by a PR team. I love all of that when people just start arguing about it. So which manager do you think has fallen out with most players?
Fergie. Didn't he fall out with Yap Stam, Roy Keane, Beckham?
Yep.
He was on here a couple of weeks ago. Neil Warnock. I bet he's had a few set twos in his time.
We're never going to guess. Who is it?
No.
Well, research suggests it's Jose.
Oh, yeah.
Would get.
Yeah.
I even found an article titled 10 players Jose has fallen out with. And then I had a look for Sir Alex and found another article titled 9 players who crossed Sir Alex. So I think it's Jose. But he used to be a little bit snippy about Luke Shaw. Fell out with Pogba. But Anthony Martial is the one that he said during the holidays, he sent me a message to ask if I wanted to change to the number 11 shirt, explaining that it's great because it was worn by Ryan Giggs. So I told him I have the greatest respect for Giggs, but I'd rather keep the number 9 shirt. Thank you very much. When I got back, I see my shirt hanging up with the number 11 on it. He disrespected me straight up. By the way, Zlatan took that 9
you're talking about Jose there at United. United are horrific club for falling out with players at the moment. You've got Rashford now. Who's the guy, the bald-headed manager before that?
Ten Hag.
Van Hag. Ten Hag.
Sancho.
Sancho, but also Ronaldo, right?
Yeah.
I was at that Brentford match
Yeah.
where Brentford hammered them because my mates had taken me up there.
Yeah.
The only player in the Man United team who was any good was Ronaldo. He was the only one who kept dragging all his players and going, come on.
Yeah.
And he was there. He looked a class above every other United player on that pitch. Straight after that match, he drops him, puts him in the resis. They win 1 or something. And then I think the way Ronaldo was treated there at the end of his career, because he was clearly the best, and then they were like, no, we're fine, we've got Marcus Rashford. Now he's fallen out with everybody.
Yeah, strange.
It's strange what's happening at United, because we went through a stage at Chelsea, didn't we, where everyone was falling out all the time. Do you remember back in the 90s, early noughties, where everyone was just falling out with each other all the time? Anyway, Helen, sorry, interrupt you. Carry on.
No, that's fine. Most of Sir Alex Ferguson's we know about, but did you know that he ignored Gary McAllister for 20 years?
No.
Why?
This was because of a joke made about him that he overheard. So the cameras were filming a few of the Leeds players at Lee Chapman's house to get their reaction to winning the First Division title. It was the last one because they'd kicked off before the Manchester United game. And after the game, Sir Alex said that Leeds didn't win it. Manchester United lost it. McAllister said, big red face, as gracious as ever in defeat, just sat there on the sofa, said it. And because it was everybody was mic'd up, Ferguson heard it. He said, right, this is Gary's quote. He said, Alex Ferguson has walked past me in Lithuanian airports and Albanian hotels for 20 years and never looked in my direction.
I can't believe he pluralised that. Like hotels. How many times has he been there in hotel? Albanian,
Lithuanian airports and Albanian hotels.
In Lithuania,
I think he's just saying in all the far-flung places. Look, a couple of players that have fallen out. Teddy Sheringham and Andy Cole. They fell out. Cole didn't shake Sheringham's hand after replacing him for England on his debut. And Cole said, I would rather sit down and have a cup of tea with Neil Ruddock, who broke my leg in 2 places, than with Teddy Sheringham. And
that was a mad thing, wasn't it? Because they used to play alongside each other a lot and were excellent, but just would not speak to each other.
No.
Bizarre, that.
And I mean, there's loads of examples, but the other one that properly made me laugh is Lothar Matthäus and Stefan Effenberg. Effenberg included a full chapter in his autobiography titled What Lothar Matthäus Knows About Football. And it was followed by a blank page.
Very good. Hey,
That's
guys,
good.
do you think we
really
should
good.
do you think we should have an interview?
Yeah, why not?
Please.
Hey, we've got a great one this week. Our guest this morning has been an ever-present in our ears for the past 30 years. Hit after hit, tour after tour, always producing quality music in the studio and live on stage. It's Manic Street Preachers, James Dean Bradfield. Hey, James, how are you?
Good morning, how are you?
Hello,
James.
Very good. Are you glad to be back with a new album?
Bit scared, to be honest. Going on the road, I'm going to be 56 in February. So that's officially closer to 60 than 50. Somebody pointed out to me the other day. And so yeah, kind of now and again when I've only got one signature move on stage, and that's when I spin around on one leg, usually my right leg, and I can feel my knee giving way a bit. So no concerns there. I'm a hamstring waiting to happen, basically.
When was the last time you went on tour? Are you match fit? Because you're going to go on tour later on this year, aren't you?
I wouldn't say I'm match fit. I would say I'm more of an impact player.
Come on for the last 10.
I mean, we were on tour with Suede last year, and that was really cool. But like Brett, their singer, he's feral, man. He really is. He gets about the stage, and I was looking at him some nights thinking, wow, you've still got it. So I am aiming to get to his levels of physicality on stage for the next tour.
How do you go about choosing a set list for a tour, James? Is there a lot of arguments involved?
Well, Nicky Wire in the band is lord of the set list. Sometimes I'll use my veto. Sometimes if there's a song in there where there's a minimal amount of kind of punctuation and lots of words, and it's halfway through the set, I'll be like, Nicky, I need a song with a bit of breathing space in this. But apart from that, we kind of have some kind of we just have a vibe amongst each other where we're pretty much always on the same page, really. We got some kind of consensus going on, and we have since the mid '80s, since we formed the band. We're on the same page.
James, there's been a bit of a hostile takeover, though. I know your album Critical Thinking's coming out soon, but the new single Hiding in Plain Sight, Nicky's doing lead vocals. I mean, what's going on there?
Hostile takeover. Well, kind of, he wrote that song in its entirety, and I think he decided it was personal enough for him to play the vocal, and he'd done his solo album last year, and he's done a solo album before that, so it's not as if he's alien to singing songs. And as soon as he did the demo, I knew that my vocal wouldn't be as appropriate, that the song was written on such a personal level that kind of me singing it wouldn't make any sense. And I did actually try singing it, and it just didn't sound right. And I didn't even play it to Nick and Sean. It was just not right. So to be honest, if he gets a few more in the set where he can give me a rest every night, I'm happy. There's nothing hostile about it at all.
James, there's some lovely female vocals as well on that track. Who is that?
So that's Lana McDonough, and she is the partner of this. This is a guy that goes on tour with us called Wade Murray. He does backing vocals and plays rhythm guitar with us on stage. And that's his partner, and she's a musical artist in her own right, anyway. But yeah, we kept it all. We kept it all in the family, really. And it's the one thing you realise when you're doing records is we've had lots of people guest on our records. So we've had Richard Hawley, we've had Green Gartay from Scritti Politti. We've had Nina Pearson from the Cardigans. You get the picture. We've had Ian McCulloch. And as soon as somebody sings on one of your songs, it elevates it, takes it somewhere else. And it makes you realise that a singer can breathe life into a song. And let's face it, I've been singing on our albums. This is our 15th album. People probably know what they're getting from me. Short, angry man that sings quite high. So it's nice to surprise people.
You mentioned she was a miserable artist. Is that the qualification you need to work
miserable?
With
I didn't say miserable.
Oh, didn't you? I thought you said miserable artist.
I thought you did too.
Oh, God, no, I'm a slurrer, sorry. It's a bit early in the morning for me. No, she's an artist in her own right. Sorry.
Oh, right. I
Oh,
wow, I'm going to be in proper trouble there if you don't correct that right now.
Miserable artist as well. Yeah, wow.
Just a miserable artist.
James, we are supposed to be a football podcast. You're a Forest fan, aren't you?
I am one of those people that you probably look down on, Tim, on many levels, to be honest. But I am a bit of a football wanderer. So, yes, I supported Forest since I was about 9, 10, because one of my uncles had liked Brian Clough when he was playing for Middlesbrough, I think. And so my uncle would have been building somewhere else around the country, and he'd gone to see Middlesbrough, and Brian Clough was playing there. So like, he's an influential uncle. So I started liking Brian Clough because he was the manager of Forest. And of course, when I started liking Forest, that was slap bang in the 79, 80, 81 years when they won the European Cup twice, which is very lucky for a 10-year-old kid. So I always had an interest in them. I saw Forest a lot in the 90s. I used to go up there with Jeff Barrett, the head of Heavenly Records. I used to have great weekends in Nottingham. But my first football matches were Newport County. I think my first match was in 1979 when I was 10 years old again.
Wow.
It was a fourth round replay against Colchester at Somerton Park, the old ground. So I've been to see Newport County quite a lot in the Len Ashurst years.
Because they went away. They went away, didn't they? They went away, didn't they? The Exiles, and then came back Newport, didn't they?
Big time, from Somerton Park to Rodney Parade, so that's why they were called the Exiles. And during that period, because we won the Welsh Cup, Newport won the Welsh Cup for the first time, we got to the quarterfinals of the Cup Winners' Cup, believe it or not, whilst we were in the third division. So I was going to see Newport County when I was a kid in the 80s, Forest in the 90s. Now I got to see Cardiff City because my son's a bit of a Cardiff City fan. And he's experiencing the pain of living such a life.
That's what it's all about.
Sorry?
Yeah.
It's what it's all about.
Yeah, but this is a lot of pain for a 9-year-old.
Anyway, I don't care who anyone supports or how I just think football. Soccer, that always our theory was just let everyone enjoy football as much as possible.
Absolutely.
You don't have to prove your credentials. If you want to turn on the TV and watch it or go, who cares? Do you know what I mean? Football's for everyone. I think that snobbery with football is horrible,
There is that militancy that if you support more than one club in your life, then you're some kind of heathen, which I kind of get, to be honest. I do understand that. But kind of, I really do pin my colours to the mast, but I got to see a lot of international football, and the last 10 years has been great for Wales.
Well, what do you think of Craig Bellamy then?
I love him so far. God, he's just absolutely, everybody's bought into it. Everybody sees that kind of like the work rate has gone up slightly. Everybody just sees it's much more organised, and his outfits on the sideline are quite good. In his first match, he looked like a member of Bros. He looked really cool. I just think he's a dude. I love Craig as a player. Absolutely, utterly loved him. And we've got some kind of fervent belief that he is the new Messiah. So there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
So that's so brilliant because
Wales are going to go all the way.
And we have a feature on the podcast called "What's Wrong with Football," and Harry Trethowan, it sounds Cornish, that name. Manager's now wearing stylish clothes. It's either a tracksuit or a suit. Put the chinos back in the closet. That's one of our "What's Wrong with Footballs" this week. Somebody having a go at managers being stylish.
I think Craig's first or second match, I think he's wearing like a bomber jacket and just like those trainers like with white soles on and like some kind of like Prada-esque jumper or something. We're all kind of like after the tracksuit years. We were seeing a new casual kind of manager on the sidelines, but in all seriousness, I do think he's doing a brilliant job. He's had an amazing start. So yeah, that's good. And the atmosphere down at Leckwith is amazing at the moment, especially in the Canton end. So it's just every time I took my lad to see the first leg of the women's match against Republic of Ireland, which we subsequently won out in Ireland. So Leckwith is very busy with the Welsh national team at the moment, and I'm enjoying it.
That's great. Okay. James, listen, thanks so much for joining us today. Critical Thinking, the album's out on the 7th of February. When are you going to actually go out on tour? When does the tour start?
Got a couple of things before, but the main tour is April going into May. We always play on Friday and Saturday nights. It's 2 nights in Glasgow, 2 nights in London, 2 nights in Swansea. It's kind of like a weekend away with Manic Street Preachers.
Wonderful.
So that's good. And Helen said your glasses are horrific. I think they're kind of cool. They make it look
and
that
you're
was
be on
a private conversation that we had before. Well, you were waiting in the wing.
Stitch up.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Wow. And you're going to be on Sunday Brunch on Sunday playing. Are you playing the new single? Are you playing Hiding in Plain Sight?
Yes. People Wearing Pains, doing a stripped back, more intimate version of it.
Brilliant.
There we
Nicky
go.
on vocals. Look forward to that. I'll see you on Sunday, James.
Big fan of
No
couscous as well.
couscous. No
here.
couscous. Bye.
We'll get couscous for you. Cheers, mate. Top man.
Bye.
Bye. See you, James.
All right. Cheers, man. Thanks a lot.
James was great.
Yeah.
Great guy there. What do you hear, mate? Do you like my glasses, guys?
I think they're
think
good.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just love the way he bowled off as well.
Yeah. Well, okay. You know. Yeah. Sad that Helen can't say it to my face.
No.
It's getting cold in here, don't you think?
Oh, I was just thinking, what we're doing at the end of the show. We haven't done
I
it.
feel it's getting colder in here. Can you feel the temperature drop? That can only mean one thing.
He's running down the left, he's running down the right, he's running down the left, he's running down the right. Cole Palmer is dynamite. It's Cold Palmer.
Cole Palmer's here. Cole is so cool. He's turned into Cole Palmer again. He grabs for a scarf, but whose scarf is it? It's red and white.
Stoke.
There's a shield shape on it.
Sunderland.
There's a lion in the middle of the shield.
Middlesbrough.
Wrexham.
The lion, though, is only a lion's head. Red and white, there's just a big lion's head in the middle of a shieldy type.
Salford.
Correct, Joe.
Well
It
done.
is
Yeah, I was
Salford.
confusing
Well done,
lions and
Joe. Joe's
dragons.
good at
The
this.
nickname
Joel's
written
good,
on it
isn't
was
he?
the Ammies. You'll like this, Joe. A survey conducted in August 2019 suggested that the supporters of the club consider which two clubs as their club's main rivals? Bolton.
Bolton.
Bolton's
and,
one.
And City.
That's it. Oldham Athletic.
Oldham Athletic.
Oldham Athletic and Bolton. They're the club's main rivals. That was Cold Palmer. I'm sure he'll be cold again next week. Who's left to do R? Is it just me and you?
Yeah, Shep Rowe and Tim.
Me and you. Yeah, me
Yeah.
and Joe. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go now. So what is
Should
it?
be bothered, mate. No,
It's
no.
like you're right. You'd have to do it if you don't want to.
No, go on, I'll do it. So this week I've got tired of doing research about football things and whatnot and spending 10 minutes on Google trying to prepare something. So this week I'm just going to go for requests, as in Soccer AM requests. The things that the poor sod who used to be on props used to have to get in, usually at the last minute.
That poor sod would
in
be
an
me.
age where you didn't have Google or the internet. Well, you did have the internet, but you didn't have Google or whatever. All you had was a phone book, right? And you were early on props, Robbie, weren't you? And then you were a bit later on Tubes doing props, and it was a real thankless task. Because you just
no money.
Because someone had come up with something, right, and it'd be like, right, Robbie or Tubes, can you get a Spanish policeman's outfit, please, for tomorrow? And this would be like 6 o'clock on a Friday night.
Spanish policeman's outfit was unbelievably easy to get. It's some of the things I got asked to do the night before. Tim once turned around to me and said, Tubes, I know it's 6 o'clock Friday evening, but I need a lamb.
I remember that
A live lamb.
Because that's the only
I
time
need a lamb. So I'd happily go and get a Spanish policeman's outfit. I had to get a lamb. We worked in Hounslow. So I was like, I used to be like, oh my God. That role of being the props boy under you guys set me up for life. Any other job that came my way, I was like, everyone's like, oh, it's tough, isn't it? I'm like, this is a piece of, It's so easy compared to what we used to do. I used to get wigs, and everyone would go, wrong colour. I'm like, it's brown. They're like, but it's not the right brown.
But it's chestnut.
Yeah.
It's like,
It was the attention to detail, which was made the show great, was unbelievable. But when I asked to get a lamb, you've got the story about a lamb.
Well, that lamb was the only time we ever did a risk assessment in the entire time I was there at Soccer, and they made us do one. And you had to go through all these things about, like, I had to fill in a form with some bloke from health and safety that I'd never met before. He just came down, and one of the things was like possible wish. It says someone might be scared of lambs, and the solution was if anyone's scared of lambs, they're allowed to not be at the shoot. And I said to you, I'm actually scared of lambs, Tim. And you said, shut up and get back in. Or ignoring this. But I had to get in a horse once.
Oh no, did you?
We were doing something about, we were doing a sketch.
Is this when we were out in the freezing cold?
It was Dex's Midnight Runners.
Yeah,
and you said, can you get a horse in? We haven't got any
pony.
money. So I literally just got the yellow pages and looked up every farm in our area and just phoned around the farm and said, any chance you can bring us a horse? And eventually someone went, yeah, all right. And it's really taught me in life that if you ask enough people, someone will give you a horse.
Yeah.
But I remember being there in the car park with Joe. This horse, we were in dungarees and all this, and this horse was trying to kick us in the shins at 5:30 in the morning.
With bare feet. We had bare feet, didn't we?
Bare feet. And Joe just turned around to me and said, if any of us ever make it in life, this is the clip they're going to use on Wogan.
Well, thankfully none of us have ever made it, have we? So it hasn't been
I think the reason why I was so pernickety or like a perfectionist is because I'd come from the background of being in proper telly where, Big Breakfast and stuff like that, where people get threatened. Because everyone wants your job. They threaten you with a sack all the time. So it was always like, you're going to get sacked this week unless you deliver. So you put the standards really high, and Andy Harris, Shandy, had also come from that background as well. So we always got the standards really high. It's not the same now. You'd get sent to HR for asking you to get a horse or a sheep or something. But in those days,
did they have one?
What?
Would they have had one?
No. Yeah, they might have had a sheep, but not a horse.
Someone would come up with an idea, wouldn't he? And it'd be like, right, we need to implement that. We need to get what we need to do it. And it would be like, the next question would be like, tubes, and you could see you'd have overheard it, and you'd be sitting there with your head in your hands.
You all used to mimic me, didn't you? There he is.
Do you know what? That's just brought back memories. I remember him sitting with it. He actually, like a cartoon, used to put his head in his hands.
Yeah, it's like he's an android. He'd shut down and just gone.
His head would go into his hands. But he used to do it.
Yeah,
come up with a good.
I just heard iceberg, and I'd be like, oh
yeah. Tubes, can you get us 3 trampolines? It's 9:30 on a Friday night. We need 3 trampolines for tomorrow morning.
With a gymnast.
They need to be blue trampolines.
Yeah.
I remember once. Do you remember the bridge link between the offices and the canteen? That was just the bridge with all glass windows. And I was
smoking it.
Yeah, people did. I was. There was a couple of blokes walking along. I was behind them and they didn't know. And they stopped to watch a bloke pull a 4-foot tooth on a trolley right in the corner. There was silence. They were looking at it and one of them went, that's got to be Soccer AM. I will never forget that because
I think that was me getting that tooth. I actually phoned all the dentists around the area. Go, you got a big model tooth? You what, mate? And I was like, the big ones that you have in the reception. No, mate.
But also, it was
massive.
We'd have our script meeting on the Friday morning, so it wasn't like you could do all this work over a week.
No,
you had basically 12
hours
until the shop shut on Friday. Yeah, like about 5 hours. I remember I'd be in there. We'd get loads of stuff, and I had this long list of things. We're getting longer and longer. And I think, God, this is going to be really hard. And then we'd be in the meeting, and someone just start talking about something else. I'm like, that's like 15 minutes of my time gone. Can we just get out of here?
I used to wake up with cold sweats and have nightmares about tashes and if they came off and stuff like that.
And then you'd be on the show and your fear that you'd miss something because there's no checks or measures. There was just I just have written things down that if someone goes, "Where's this?" and you're going, "What?"
Yeah,
I was a very good Joe. Just leaves me.
Yeah.
So I was going to go Arthur Ronnie Bottom, but I could only think of Gary Lineker. Couldn't think of any others. So I went. I just thought because I'm not really sorry.
Paula Radcliffe.
Didn't play football. Oh no, did she play left back for Charlton for a while?
Trials.
So I went for. I just thought, I never win, so I might as well just go for something a bit random. So I just went for.
Have you given up?
No, yes. I went for ribbons, and I think as I say, I've come up with some really decent stuff in the time, but I haven't won. So I just thought I'd brag this week. I don't expect to win with this one, but there was a bloke.
I see what you're doing here. You're just playing it down.
Well, no, there's a bloke who used to come down with the Premier League trophy. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And they had security guards. And one day I went to touch the Premier League trophy, and he shouted at me. Do you remember this?
Yep.
And I Red Mist, I was a bit moody in those days sometimes. We were under a lot of stress. And I lost the plot with this security guard. And I was like, well, he's just a sodding cup. Swear. And I looked at him and he looked at me and I was just like, I feel terrible about this. So at the end of the show, I went, mate, I've had to do this a lot in my past, lose the plot and then go and apologise to somebody. At least I bothered to apologise. But I went to apologise to him and said, mate, I'm so sorry. I just I don't know why, but I lost the plot with you there, you know. Anyway, the next season, he came down to the show with the Premier League trophy at the beginning of the show. And he went, I've got a present for you. Because we bonded over that moment and we were shouting to him. And he delivered me the ribbons from the Premier League trophy. And he said, after we took the trophy back, because you know they put the blue and white ribbons on when Chelsea won the league. He said, there's the ribbons from the trophy. I have literally no proof that they are the ribbons, apart from him. And he did tell me, and he said they're genuine. But I've got them now, framed. And I just thought I'd do a little bit of a brag. Worthless, because I can't prove it. But every time I
20 mates have got the ribbons from it. They're all going to be phoning in now going, I've got framed ribbons from that guy.
Stop it. No way. But that's my R. I think I might just win because it's a good brag and no one else has the ribbons. So that, we've done all our R's.
There you go, yeah.
So before Helen decides that who's won, let's do some WWFs. What's wrong with football?
Rory Coop says people in the stands filming the game on their phones. Boo them. Harry Trothowen, we talked about this with James, manager now wearing the stylish clothes. You either wear a tracksuit or a suit. Put those chinos back in the closet. Daryl, strikers in their 30s not getting moved back to play centre half anymore, like Dion Dublin. We had Rude Hullett. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't a striker, but he ended up moving back. And Hoddle. Yeah, Hoddle. Sorry, Helen. John Hunt says any physical contact is not a foul. Let the game flow.
I'll do some woke nonsense. Adam says all the players are friends. Where's the hatred? Like Keane versus Vieira. Woke madness. I've got to agree with that. Yeah, got to agree with that. Tubes, just so quickly, what did you think of Pep talking to Cole Palmer? Not good, was it? No, not a good look for Cole.
Well, that's a weird one because Pep's obviously planned to do that.
I feel sorry.
And he's come over to him.
Yeah, I think Pep was out of order.
I think Pep knew what he was doing there. And what's our young hero supposed to do?
Yeah. Oh, it's cold. Daniel says defenders taking goal kicks. Absolutely no place for it. Woke nonsense. James says football having grooves and not being smooth. Utter woke nonsense. And finally, Paul says influencers.
Oh, the worst.
Woke. Yeah. Robbie's woke. Who won, Helen? Did I win? Did I win? They're all very good. Did I win?
Robbie.
I'm going to give it to Joe.
Woke.
Joe, well done,
what,
Joe.
Again?
Pass that crown over. We should do a tally soon of who's won the most. It's between Tubes and Joe, isn't it?
Joe, I think.
Well, Robbie's never here, so we don't know. And that's the end of the show. We'll see you on.
Well done, Joe.
See you on Friday for the question
and
quiz. See you then. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.